Stop chewing
What
on
are
shirt.
Your intro is no, stop chewing on that thing or whatever.
My dog was chewing on my brand new Ruby shirt that I got from GameStop.
No, puppy.
I know.
Oh my god, we're live! Let me adjust my tie.
Wait,
Anxiety.
wait. We're what? Oh,
We're
no.
live!
Oh no.
I gotta adjust my tie! Oh my god!
Okay, there we go. Ow! Get
Do your
my
intro
cat.
now.
My cat is eating my hand.
So is everybody's pets just attacking them all of a sudden?
Yes.
No, mine are in their boxes where they belong.
Well, I would say mine would be attacking me, but mine know better because, I'm kind of a dick.
Kind of.
I give them treats every now and again. I give them food. I give them water. They survive.
They survive.
Matter of fact, one of my cats, okay, I have this desk next to my actual desk, and the hand sanitizer fell off of it, and one of my cats just stared at it for like a split second, just like, what is that? And then jumped and ran off, and the other cat was like, the fuck's going on, guys? What is that? Why did he run off? What's going on?
Y'all are cat people. I am a dog person.
I am a cat and dog person. I am an animal person. I am yes.
I am an animal person.
You
I
blather.
am yes.
Sloths are my faves.
I would take a dog, but I live in an apartment, so I can't have a big dog, which I really hate. But if I was in like a home, I would totally take a big dog.
Oh
I have a
yeah.
lab.
German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay, yeah. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to RT Fancast. I'm one of your hosts, Josh.
Oh, do I go?
No,
Who goes first?
Oh.
nope, sorry, that was just me pausing. Today we have with shut up. Shut up.
Bam.
I'm not whatever. Anyways, today we have Patrick.
Hello.
Gay.
We have Mika.
No, it's Star.
Patrick Star.
Duh, Squidward. Oh.
Anyways, we got Mika
Me. Hi.
and Ryan.
Yeah, I haven't been here since Ruby Volume 5 ended. What's up, everybody?
I am.
Been a while.
Been a minute.
Been a hot minute.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, get off of me! Ow! My cat just bit me.
Now you're a vampire.
Is that how that works?
I'm
I don't know.
not really sure.
Now you're a vampire. How does it feel to be a vampire?
Vampire.
See, I tried to sound like Alucard, but I sounded like fucking Guru. Dende, how does it feel to be a green vampire?
Does he send? This madness he send?
Nail. Cleanse his soul.
Boy. Anyways. Before I started before we started, I asked y'all to watch the Warner Brothers Mowgli trailer. What did y'all think of that? Because I have my opinions on it. But I want to hear yours first.
It was pretty badass, I thought. I think it's going to tell a much better story than the original Jungle Book. Not going to lie.
But you can't beat the original. It's like one of those things where you have like a love-hate. Like it looks awesome, but at the same time it's kind of like you can't beat the original. You have to love the original to love the story.
Well, you can love the original and still appreciate something new. Like I know I'm coming in here pretty much like, hey, you have a spot, have at it. I actually happened to view the trailer, and I do have genuine confidence in it, more confidence than I have in, say, the Milan movie, the live-action Milan movie that I have zero confidence in right now.
Yeah, I just don't care about any live-action Disney movies right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's how I feel. Is that like I'm an OG Disney fan, so like remakes kind of are on the fence for me. So they have to be a damn good remake to stand out. I'm
Well,
sure that's the same with everything, but
The thing
well,
is,
go
sorry, go
ahead.
ahead.
No,
Well,
go ahead. Go
okay.
ahead. Go
Girls,
ahead.
Alright,
stop
so-
jacking each other off.
so my thing is like if Disney is so bone dry on ideas that they're remaking their own movies live action, then they're just kind of trying to bide time until they can think of something good. So I don't think that it's actually gonna like any of the live action movies are ever going to be good because they're just kind of like fillers to me.
Now, I do have to preface that the movie that I was talking about, Mowgli, is being
Right,
produced by Warner Brothers, not
right,
Disney.
and that's why.
Disney did their take at a live action Jungle Book movie a year or two ago, which I thought was fantastic and possibly the best live action movie they've done to date.
Yeah, I was going to
Of
bring
the-
that up. In fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know-
by the way, Proto 245 just shot me, so I'm currently dealing with that. But I'm gonna pull a Teddy Roosevelt and be like, oh, I got shot. All right, well, I'm gonna carry on with my speech. Yeah, the Jungle Book remake, the live remake, was really fucking well done. Like, it was really well done. I was surprised at how well done it was. And they have a Lion King live action remake where James Earl Jones is actually going to voice Mufasa. And I've looked at some of the other voice actors. Yeah, again. But, some of the other voice actors they have going into this, I have confidence in it. But the Mulan, they're just making so many changes to the original narrative that Disney themselves made that I'm like, what are they doing? And
now for me, I think the original animated Mulan movie is a fucking classic and will never be able to be touched ever again. Eddie Murphy will forever and always be the king. But I actually haven't heard anything about or I haven't seen any of what they're remaking, so I don't actually know how different it's going to be from the original movie. But if they want, they can do whatever they want with it, because the original animated movie had little to nothing to do with the original source material. So if they wanted, they could just pull straight from the book with this one.
If we're going to go along that line of logic, Lion King was nothing more than a ripoff of Romeo and Juliet, or not Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, and Lion King 2 was essentially a reenactation of Hamlet, where the uncle was the king, not the uncle was the king, where the nephew had to overthrow the current ruling regime. All right, no, fuck it, I'm screwing this whole thing up. The first Lion King was Hamlet. The second Lion King was Romeo and Juliet. I'm mixing the two up. Holy shit.
Yeah.
But
let's just all agree that Lion King 1.5 is the best.
I
actually
will agree with
we
you
all
on that.
need that Timon and Pumbaa movie.
I actually never watched it, so I can neither say that I agree nor disagree.
Audible gas.
Heathen.
Oh, I'm a heathen because I haven't watched the Holy Scripture. My bad. Holy shit.
Yep.
But what's making the live action Mulan looking bad is that it deviates, like the Disney reenactation of it deviated from the original source material because Mulan, in fact, committed suicide at the end of the original story. But in the Disney cartoon animation, she saves China and becomes a hero and all that good stuff. In this live action version, there is no the main love interest of Mulan, who's hinted at being bisexual or whatever. He's not even in the story at all anymore. And there's no Eddie Murphy, Long Dragon character.
Well, I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're deviating from their own deviation of the original story. It's not even worth like getting into. It's like, what are you trying to sell us as viewers? Because with the Jungle Book, you at least stuck to, you had the original characters. Some things were different here and there, but otherwise you stuck to the same story, and that's why the live action Jungle Book worked so freaking well. And plus, you have fucking Charles Walken as the orangutan dude. I mean, holy shit! He pulled that role off perfectly.
Much better than anyone expected.
And Bill Murray as Baloo. Come on, how can I not love this movie?
Long dragon creature. His name is Mushu, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah, Mushu. I haven't watched that movie. Yeah, I haven't watched that movie in a long time.
The great and powerful Mushu!
The great and powerful Eddie Murphy!
Take into consideration there was a Mulan Part 2 that no one ever remembers.
It's because it was not great.
Well, there was a Hunchback of Notre Dame too, and nobody fucking cares about that.
Right. The sequels are always bad.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I enjoyed Cinderella 2. It wasn't great, but I enjoyed it.
Well, that's the same. Like, they made a Cinderella live action. They made 2, actually. There was the live action, the one with Hilary Duff, and the second one was Selena Gomez.
What I was going to say about...
All right. Don't even fucking go there.
What I was going to say about the Hunchback of Notre Dame sequel is that the sequel exists to apologize for the fact that Esmeralda did not end up with Quasimodo. They needed some hot chick to end up with Quasimodo to make up for the fact that they had the stereotypical Prince Charming end up with the stereotypical damsel in distress, a.k.a. Phoebus and Esmeralda. Even though Esmeralda and Phoebus had no fucking chemistry whatsoever.
Well, I wouldn't say they didn't have any chemistry. They were pretty flirtatious. But, I get what you said.
Phoebus had a boner for her, but Quasimodo genuinely loved her, is what I will say.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Benton wants a live-action Balto movie.
Actually, that could work.
That would actually be pretty cool.
That would be
I would watch that.
I would actually love to see a live-action Balto movie based on the actual story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Instead of a more fantastical interpretation as the animated version was.
Oh, hey, Uncle Boris. How are you doing, Uncle Boris?
Oh my god, I loved that movie.
Movie
was scared from it at the same time. Mike is dropping. You know what I would love to see? I would love to see a live action American Tail movie.
That would be interesting. It would honestly be all CG though. Like there would be no live action part to it. I don't think.
I was gonna say, would it be people or would it be like mice?
I
don't know.
That's definitely something to think about, though.
Because you could do people in, like, let's say the Great Depression, because I think a lot of what was going on in that movie had to do with the Great Depression.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're gonna try to do a live action remake of that movie, it would have to be with mice. But I don't think that would work if you were doing live action. Just because, I mean,
well, Disney owns Pixar, so they could do that whole number.
And Player says live action Cars movie.
Oh
Lord!
Oh,
have mercy on us all.
Cars has never been good. Even the first movie sucked ass.
All right.
I mean, hey, hold your horses. The first one was pretty decent. 2 was god awful.
They made 3 of those movies.
Cars was terrible. Oh, and we're just now getting an incredible sequel. Just now,
yes.
Well, yeah. that was long overdue. But
15 years.
Yeah. No, I know because I was waiting as a kid the entire time waiting for another movie about The Incredibles because they left it at such a good area to make a second one, but they never did anything with it.
And that's where the video game comes in.
I'm definitely going to be in front row to watch The Incredibles.
Like, so there's going to be a lot of older.
Why would you be front row?
I cannot wait to see the sales figures of The Incredibles 2. I cannot fucking wait so that Disney can eat its own fucking ass and realize that, wow, we really screwed the pooch and not making a sequel sooner.
It's going to be all mid-20s and early 40-year-olds.
Exactly. They're going to be like, what the hell is this demographic? Why are we making $40 million off of 40-year-olds? What the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
Because you waited a decade and a half, you fucking schmucks.
Going back to the Cars thing, live action one would just be cars with the sun shield just up on the windshield, just with eyeballs painted on.
I would actually love to see an SNL skit with Owen Wilson and Larry the Cable Guy as Lightning and Mater.
That would be pretty funny.
I just want to stretch out to Benton's greatest Disney movie. I agree with you.
Emperor's New Groove, yes.
Yeah,
we will not fight you because that is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Pull the lever, Crunk. That's literally my favorite movie.
God damn it, Chandler, why aren't you here? You missed
all right. So, Josh, I've got to ask you because Hiro Hay posted this video about the Ruby critics, and I got to ask you: has this come to your attention as well in terms of the sudden rise of Ruby critics?
I actually have not seen that video yet, but it honestly, Ruby critics have been there since the very beginning, but we have basically gone a bit louder and a bit more critical because with season 4, volume 4, we've now started to criticize all the imperfections now as opposed to back when it was in its heyday.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is, I mean, as Proto245 just said, watch Unicorn's videos. Yeah, Unicorn makes some great fucking videos. And, I saw a post about the Vexed Viewer and his videos, and the person that was talking about them had a very negative thing to say about them. And I would say that, look, calling them, a poser, a bandwagoner, and then it wasn't the original poster, but there were some people calling him a cunt, calling him, a bitch and stuff like that. I'm like, where do you get off as saying that about him when there are other people trying to defend Miles and Carrie? Because there are some people calling Miles and Carrie derogatory names and stuff like that. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with calling Miles and Carrie negative names. Miles and Carrie, they deserve to be criticized for their work, not for being people, not for being workers of Rooster Teeth. Because I honestly think Ruby would benefit more if Miles and Carrie would be more like the D&D of Ruby, whereas D&D are the executive producers, the creators of the Game of Thrones television series. Miles and Carrie need to have the supervisional aspect of the show, but they need to hire writers to write episodes, to write seasons, stuff like that. They need to hire people to do this kind of stuff and let Miles and Carrie be the sort of overarching visionaries of how each season needs to unfold. I feel like that would benefit the series more than just relying on 2 individual writers for an entire volume. Because volume 5, let's be honest here, it wasn't a terrible volume. I did enjoy parts of it. Episodes 1 through 6, for the most part, to me, were great. But after that, the season started to fall apart. And I feel like they need to bring on more writers to do more parts of this series. They need to bring on writers that can write dramatic scenes. They can bring on the better parts of fight scenes. They can bring on, like the Blake and Ilya type moments where there's two people. They're not necessarily fighting, but they're in the middle of a fight and they have their dramatic 1v1s of like, I'm doing this because of my reasons. I'm doing this because of my reasons, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like there needs to be a change in the backbone of who is behind the show of RWBY. And,
They need. Oh, damn it! I had it. Proto said they need more time and need more writers.
So,
they definitely need more time.
So what you're saying is like also from a perspective of keep it, out of personal being, keep it more business. If there's criticism, make it because of like the comments is what I'm saying. Make it because of the show, not towards them, and
make it what it needs. Make it what it was intended to be.
Yeah.
And like Miles and Carrie, they need to understand that they cannot shoulder this entire project on themselves. They need to broaden the burden. They need to let people take hands in the matter in terms of the writing aspect. Because Miles, like I have my criticisms towards Miles, but I understand he's not the reason why Jean is in the spotlight of volumes 4 and 5. He's not the reason for that. He, in fact, was the one that said, like, look, I don't want to be in the spotlight. I'm writing this series. I don't want my character that I voice act to be the centerpiece where everybody else is like, no, you're good. Just go with it.
I think we can all agree that volume 5 felt really rushed in story. And I think we can also compare volume 4 and 5 to the Star Wars prequels.
Well, no. I would actually argue that the prequels, they were well written. They were just poorly executed, much like volume 5.
I mean, I would say more as in staleness, because with Miles and Carrie having worked on volume 4 and 5, the writing is a bit stale. So expanding a bit more, keeping them in the same role as they have been the past few years, as George Lucas was with episodes 1, 2, and 3, can get a little exhausting. So give someone else the opportunity to direct and write as well.
Well, I mean, by that logic, though, Miles and Carrie have been more or less
God.
What?
Oh, just something Mika said in the chat.
Oh, okay.
What were you saying?
I was going to say, like, if you want to talk about George Lucas's films of 4, 5, and 6 worked because he had people that could tell him, no, this is not how you do it. Here's how you're going to do it. And he went with it. Episodes 1, 2, and 3, he did his own thing. And look how it turned out. And, we could argue about episodes 8 and 9, The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. We could argue about that shit, but that's a different topic for a different day. But that I feel like it's more the case with episodes 4, 5, and 6, when Miles and Carrie had Monty beside them, whereas volumes 4 and 5 is when George Lucas alone is running the picture. Miles and Carrie need to take a step back. They need to hire more writers. They need to take a break. They need to finesse what they're doing, because especially when they have Nomad of Nowhere and that other show that they've got going on. Their animators are overworked. They need to take a step back and reevaluate how they're doing these shows.
So the thing is, Nomad of Nowhere is completely separate from RWBY, because RWBY, I believe, is the 3D animation, and Nomad of Nowhere is a 2D animation.
Mm-hmm.
But the same animators are assumingly working on the same.
No, they're two separate entities. There's 2D animation, which only works on the 2D animation, and then there's the 3D animation, and only those animators work on that. So
I'd also like to say that I haven't.
I'm bringing up the budget aspect of it, not the animator aspect. The budget aspect of it, because Rooster Teeth, they aren't the same as, let's say, Bones when it comes to My Hero Academia, or Funimation or Toei or anything like that. Rooster Teeth is still an independent company.
I'd like to say that I haven't like a tipsy-turvy upside down feeling about the nowhere to what is it?
Nomad of Nowhere.
Yeah. I kind of mixed. Like I'll watch it. I've watched maybe 3 episodes, but I probably won't stick around for that one.
I honestly like No Matter Nowhere. It kind of gave me that like Saturday morning cartoon, kind of like how I had with X-Ray and Vav, kind of like a Looney Tunes aspect, but with a good story.
Is it still up and running?
Or
is it still on break?
I think it might be on break still.
I think they're on break, but it's not that I dislike it, and that's not the thing. It's just for me, it just didn't hit home. You know.
Well, see. Here's where I think, like, No Matter Nowhere and Junk, they can both function and work well because they have. Well, No Matter Nowhere is just setting up its initial first season, and Junk has yet to start its first season. But with volumes 4 and 5 with Ruby, it overcomplicated its own plot. Volumes 1 through 3 were very simple to follow. The characters had their motivations. You could follow it pretty easily, but they introduced the maidens, the relics, Salem being a thing, Osmond's backstory, among other things. I feel like they overcomplicated the plot in 2 different volumes more than they needed to, and it's getting hard to follow in terms of being a cohesive story. And so it's just kind of collapsing in on itself. And don't get me wrong, I still love Ruby. I think Ruby is still a redeemable series. It can still progress forward and still be successful. But it's really starting to just cave in on its own narrative because Ruby's not really the main character anymore. Oscar and Sean have had the main pinpoint, and there's just too many stories going on for them to handle in a 14-episode volume where each episode is roughly 12 to maybe 17 minutes long.
But see, here's the thing. One thing that I was reading, Monty never meant for it to be about just one set of characters.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be about everybody. And so each season can have its own main story arc character. Season 5 kind of was all centered around Jean, or it was season 4. One of the two. It was
seasons 1 through 3 focused on the main characters. That is Ruby Rose, Weiss, Yang, and Blake. Volume 4 focused on Jean, Weiss, Yang, Blake. Volume 5 focused on Blake, Yang, Weiss, and Raven.
Honestly, I didn't get that feel. Watching it myself, I enjoyed. I enjoy where they're going with the story because it's progressing forward. It's not just a quirky, fun show. It's getting more dramatic, and I'm liking that because I wanted more from Ruby. I didn't want it to stay just the same thing because then it's going to get stale. I don't want the show that I enjoy watching so much to get stale. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough. But let me take a look at My Hero Academia, because I feel like My Hero Academia is the best series to compare this to, considering the premises, because you have the innocent person, the innocent guy, the innocent girl. They both want to be heroes, and they both want to defeat evil. My Hero Academia is currently on its 3rd season, and Deku, I'm just going to call him that, Deku has been consistently the main focus of the story. Likewise, Ruby Rose should have been the main focus of the story for the first 3, let's say, volumes, and she was. Volume 4, she was not the main focus. Volume 5, she was not the main focus. In fact, Ranger was not the main focus of Volume 5. Ranger just kind of sat around and did nothing. And Ruby didn't ask the obvious question of, hey, can you tell me about these magical powers I have in regards to my silver eyes? Can you tell me about that? It makes Ruby look bad as a character. It looks bad on the writing. And it's just like, why would Ruby not ask that question, considering what she did to Cinder, especially since Cinder popped up later on in the volume because Ruby had to know that Cinder was still out there. Cinder was still a thing. And Osmond would obviously be able to indicate, like, hey, all right, you have silver eyes. Let me teach you about your silver eyes. Let me teach you why your silver eyes are important. But we don't have that. We don't get that. We just have Osmond, Crow, and Ranger sitting around, thinking around.
We haven't gotten that yet. I mean, like, there's still
room to develop.
It's been 2 volumes since the silver eyes were introduced. Don't tell me there's room for
for me, I stopped watching Ruby not because I've just wanted to, but I stopped watching Ruby after season 3 or chapter, whatever you call it. But I'm slowly starting to have time to sit there and watch it now. And I agree with Patrick. I honestly don't feel that Ruby has been, as you would say, kind of pushed away. I feel like she's still setting her place. It's just, it's character development. It's getting the spotlight on someone else. That's okay, because in time there will be development where perhaps, who knows, what the next chapter or the next series, the next season, Ruby may have her full-on comeback, or we never know what's down the line. And I think that's kind of what Patrick's saying, in a way, is that there's character development, there's time to progress.
Well, she's the main character, and it's been 5 seasons, and she's had 0 growth. I mean, she's had moments of growth, but it hasn't been a consistent.
But Ruby Rose, yes, as though she is the main character, she is really not the main character, because it is Ruby. It is the 4 girls. So although Ruby had her
amount of growth among the 4. Blake has had more growth. Yang has had more growth, and Weiss has had more growth.
Maybe there's, however, but maybe there's a reason. Take that into perspective. Maybe it's all a build up to Ruby having her moment of, hey, I'm Ruby Rose, and bam, everything happens. It's just kind of one of those possibilities.
Well, I could dial back to saying, what I brought up with My Hero Academia. Deku has been established as the main character. He's had the most growth among every other character in My Hero Academia. And he and Ruby are pretty much almost verbatim, quote by quote, line by line, the exact same person. The innocent, naive, heroic soul that wants to be the hero of their story. And Deku has he's proven his way of life, whereas Ruby has not.
But you're comparing one completely separate show to another.
Yeah.
If Ruby wants to be an anime, then I'm. How are they? How is the precedent different?
It's because they have different stories. They have different ways of going about telling a story. It's not about how the story gets told. It's about what the story is, who's in the story, how you can connect with the characters that are in that story. If you don't know about the characters, how are you supposed to connect with those said characters?
Well, how am I supposed
to... Yes, Ruby is supposed to be the main character, air quotations there, but there is no main character in Ruby. It's RWBY, all right? It's not RUBY, right?
Well, I mean, there's no quote-unquote main character of My Hero Academia.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not called Midoriya or Deku. It's just Midoriya is the main
But that's the writer's choice.
Likewise.
That's the writer's choice.
Like you're saying with that anime, that is their style. That is their progress. That is what they have done. Now you have to take into consideration now with Ruby, what are they doing? How are they, explaining? How are they showing their audience in a way to connect with each and every character, as Patrick was saying just then?
Well, here's the thing. With volumes 1 through 3, they were doing a phenomenal job in connecting their characters to their audience because the characters drove the story. In volumes 4 and 5, they over-nuanced the story. The maidens, the relics, the bandit tribe, Salem's goals, Osmond's backstory, you name it. It over-nuanced the story.
If you don't progress the story, you're going to lose viewers. That's the whole thing. If you want the same thing, but if you're wanting the same thing, it's not progressing the story. It would have been the same thing and nobody would have cared to watch it after a couple more seasons because they're not making any changes to keep it fresh.
And Proto over here also has said that the writers have also admitted that uh, volume 4 and 5 were a bit of a hiccup in that they could have done quite a bit better with the storytelling, which
which
we all
which
agree.
I mean is, yeah, that's fine, but they weren't bad though. They weren't like
No. I'm
me.
not saying that they're inherently bad. I'm just saying they introduced too many nuances to the point where the writing kind of falls flat on its ass. And it's not to say that Miles is a bad writer or that Carrie's a bad writer. It's just that they introduced too many aspects in a given time to where the story just kind of becomes convoluted. It's hard to follow what's going on, and some things don't make sense, etc. And we're not able to get involved with the characters because there's way too many characters going on in the story at the given time.
And I also really hate to put blame on any one person, but it also comes to it also shows how much of an influence Monty was in the writing and the directing, because he really focused the entire show on his vision, and um, without him, Miles and Carrie basically just decide to dump all the info on us at one
Well,
time.
see, all right. Here's the thing though. Monty, he was the idea behind it, but Miles and Carrie were always the writers. Monty had very little say in the writing of the story, but Miles and Carrie have taken on what Monty has left by leading the animation as well, because Monty was like the head of like the main like animation of how they do things and all of that. So they're not only worried about their writing, but they're also worried about how the show looks now. And so that's where it's kind of making it more difficult for them to make a good series because they've got too much on their plate. If they focus just on the writing, I'm sure it would go back to the same thing. But they've got their focus on both things, and so it's making it harder for the show to be like what it was seasons 1 through 3.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and I don't know.
Go ahead, Michaela. Sorry.
You're fine. I don't know if this is any context really, but I was just thinking of him listening to y'all talk and everything. And although I'm kind of on the outer rim of things, but I watch Always Open like all the time. And there was an episode that Miles was on, and they spoke about their inspirations. And Miles did speak about the department and how large it's gotten. And he did speak about how they're hiring new people, how they're training new people, how, it's grown so big, and there's a lot of animation in the people in the animation department. And Barb said, like a side comment, she said, yeah, it's like 200 or like 100. I think she said 100, 200. I don't know what she said exactly, but there's so many people, and that's also an instant as to you have to take that into consideration. I would kind of suppose to put out there is that if they are training new people, how long does it take to train so many people? How long would it take, to get that kind of progress out there? Perhaps that might be one of those setbacks, or like, what's the word? It kind of like a stability situation to cause. You know what I'm trying to get at?
No. You are completely correct, because if they're trying to train like 100 plus people, that's also 100 plus people that they have to pay to do their jobs, which sets their budget back X amount of times, and the animation team can only do so many things.
Yeah, and then get like how many people mess up, or maybe there might, you're learning, so of course you have to learn the style that
and
Miles and Carrier people in that line are trying to envision. So I'm sure their line of work is just as difficult, and perhaps that might also be one of those like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah,
we're trying to put everything out, and I'm sure because they have so much help, it's like, oh my god, we have so much help. Now we can just go blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
that's why I bring up the whole fact that Miles and Carrie need to kind of they could be the top dogs of the series,
Yeah.
but they don't necessarily need to have the entire burden on their shoulders. And we just lost Joshua.
Yeah, we lost Josh.
But I guess we'll carry on. But like they don't need the entire burden like shouldered upon them. They could still do things.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course.
And
Well,
And that's what I was saying. I'm thinking that's probably why they're like, oh, we have all this help. Now let's just push it out. You know, and then it's just kind of like how you were saying, that clutter of everything's happening at one time. But maybe to them it's like, oh, now we can push out everything that, you know, I'm sure comments and people, you know, from the fandom are saying, hey, we want to see this person. Hey, we want to, you know, develop this, develop that. And maybe that's also one of those like,
oh, he's back.
Here we go.
Damn it, Zero. We were just trying to overthrow you. Why did you come back? Damn it.
Oh,
we're trying to take over your show.
Yeah, man. Come on, bro.
Man.
My internet cut out for some reason. Anyways.
Yeah, that shit happens to me at work sometimes. United States Air Force. Hey, the internet fucking sucks. Yeah, who'd have thunk it?
Mm-hmm. Anyways, what did you guys end off on?
We're actually just debating.
Go ahead, Michaela. Sorry.
No.
Okay,
I said we were just kind of developing at this point of kind of a concluded of who's and what's is going on.
Yeah.
Like my entire point is mainly on that I feel like Rooster Teeth is overwhelming themselves with their projects. Like, I forget if it was Patrick or if it was Michaela that brought up that Nomad of Nowhere and the Genlock has its own like 2D department development team where they animate the whole shindig and whatnot. But I would still say that Rooster Teeth is still overworking themselves in terms of, Ruby, because goddamn, excuse me, I'm sorry. Volume 5 felt very rushed towards the end. Like, it started off good, like episodes 1 through 6, really good for the most part. But after that, the volume kind of collapsed in on itself. And I feel like they kind of rushed to the finish. But with episode 13, they were able to get that gym episode in with Raven versus Cinder. Even though I did not have a dog in that fight, I didn't care who won or who lost, although I was making on Raven, given that she was a 10-year senior to Cinder in terms of being a maiden. So mathematically, I was proven right, given what happened. But at the same time, it's like the final fight did not involve our main protagonist. And technically, it didn't really involve our main antagonist, because I would contend that the main antagonist of Volume 5 was Leo, given the role that he had to play and everything going on. But then again, Oscar had a role to play against him, even though Oscar was the main character. Ruby's supposed to be the main character. And my argument is falling apart just like the narrative of Volume 5 is. So, yeah.
Okay,
Josh,
so
you're gonna have to title this episode is like, what is wrong with Ruby? Get that clickbait.
Anarchy.
Here's the thing: we can all agree that we all love Ruby.
Of course,
that's been a point that I've been trying to establish. That I've been critical of this show. I've been so freaking critical of the show. Josh can vouch for me because I've been critical about it.
Because you love it.
Oh yeah, I love the show. I love it. It's influenced by freaking writing. Like, had I not stumbled upon Ruby, I don't know where my writing would be going right now in terms of like setting up my narrative. But I still have my criticism to say about the show, and I still feel like critics deserve their platform just as the fans deserve their platform, which is why I get so freaking miffed when I see fans going all, bitchy, whiny, complainy at the critics, and at the same time, I see critics, go all bitchy, whiny, complaining at the freaking fans are like, "Oh, we're just trying to enjoy what we like." Like, piss off, dude. Like, oh, you don't like the show? Who fucking cares? Piss off, you fucking schmuck.
I think that just plainly goes back to it's the internet, and the internet has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
You're
completely right. You're completely right.
So to change the subject,
Yeah.
Okay, Patrick Star, change the subject. Why don't you?
All right, I'm just trying to move on. All right, let's just move on past Ruby.
I'm joking, dude.
So it's more than just Ruby. Genlock. Did y'all see the announcement about Genlock?
I saw the announcement, but if there's a dog show coming in, I didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Michael B. Jordan is voicing one of the characters in Genlock.
Ah, no kidding.
Okay, I didn't watch Black Panther, but he came out in that. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
He was in it. Yes.
Yeah. He was in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly, that's a big step for Rooster Teeth. And then,
yeah, it is.
And then they're getting a new animated show from the makers of Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. They really just need to focus more of their energy on Ruby. I honestly could care less about any new shows that they have right now because they haven't proven themselves very well with being focused on series. They've just been cranking them out more than developing the technology, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you completely.
Quality or quantity over quality.
Guys, exactly. I know this matters to nothing, but I was going to my Google because I saw the article and I was going to pull it up. But besides that, Beyonce and Jay-Z just bought a $26 million mansion.
Oh, who fucking cares?
No one cares. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to spike up the conversation.
Wait a minute, insert some useless nonsense nobody fucking cares about. God damn it.
It's like bringing up the Kardashians again. God.
Oh,
or the royal fucking wedding that nobody gave a fuck about. Oh, I don't know. 242 years ago.
I just noticed that the new girl who married the other prince, it was an actress, and I never knew that.
Yeah, Hollywood's trying to take over the world.
She's an American too. Did you not know that?
I didn't know that. I really didn't.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yes. Hollywood is trying to take over Britain. Hollywood is trying to take over Bollywood. Big deal. Who fucking cares? Same story, different fucking day. Trump is president. Nobody.
But I found the article.
Yeah, different article, different day. Don't bring it up.
No, the Michael B. Jordan thing.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan. Hey, that's the guy we can all talk about. I love Michael B. Jordan. Everybody loves Michael B. Jordan. Right, guys? Right, guys? Right, gals? Yeah.
He's pretty to look at.
He's a pretty dope fucking dude. He's a great fucking guy. He's going to be in, what was it, Genlock?
Yeah.
Yeah, Genlock.
Yeah, Marty. Was he going to be a Genlock? Was it going to be a Genlock, Marty? Oh, good.
That's actually another thing to talk about that you said that. I don't know if any of y'all are Rick and Morty fans, but that's the same thing that
I am.
But that's the same thing that they are going through right now, because Justin Roiland is going through that with character development and writers. They're having the same problem as Ruby is.
Well, they just got greenlit for 70 episodes, so yeah.
Well, yeah. But they took forever on season 3, and season 3, although I love Rick and Morty, it was shit. Like it. Whoa. I think there was like 2 or 3 good episodes.
Wow.
In my opinion, as a person who really
You're
likes
gonna
Rick and
get
Morty,
shit on.
that's fine. As a person who really likes Rick and Morty, I can honestly say that I think it was rushed. This season 3 was really rushed to be pushed out, and even Justin Roiland himself said that he didn't really like it. That it
Though
was
we can all
pushed.
agree that the quote unquote season finale that they left on was a pretty shitty season, pretty shitty episode
I
to
didn't.
leave this season on.
Michaela, you are about as brave, as pretty as your profile picture is. I will say that much.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, no problem. But I mean, Jesus Christ! Oh, Rick and Morty season 3 was trash.
but-
Oh really? Oh really?
No.
Let's have a debate. Let's have it, boys.
No, like even Justin Roiland himself spoke about it, that he didn't really feel confident about season 3. And even if the creator doesn't even feel confident about it, why? I just don't understand why they put it out. I would have waited. Honestly, I would have been okay to wait and put something out that you enjoy. I think that's also kind of one of the things about Ruby is, like you're saying, they're pushing out so many things. What if that's kind of like we're just focusing on putting it out?
I just thought of a terrible joke. Let's ask William Shakespeare how his stereotype of fucking Romeo and Juliet turned out in the modern century. Yeah. How what did your story turn out then, you fucking spoon-stealing schmuck? Actually, I thought of a worse joke, but I'm not going to say it for the sake of this podcast. And it has absolutely everything to do with spoons.
But
Funnily enough.
What?
Exactly.
Wait, what?
Exactly. It doesn't matter.
Now I'm curious. Tell me after the show.
I'll tell. All right. To the three of you after the show, I will tell you the joke.
Did you just count how many people are in this call right now?
Yes, I
drunk
did.
are you?
Hey, nobody accuse me of being good at math, okay? Give me a break. Potentially beautiful picture on the internet that I'm watching right now.
Potentially beautiful? I'll take it.
I don't know if that's you or not. I don't know if that's you or not. I'm just saying. You don't know if that's me or not. I could be a tentacle fucking tuxedo wearing guy.
Cthulhu?
I could be Cthulhu. You never know.
Wearing a
Zero to Hero, he could be a fucking emblem, and Patrick could be just a blue guy. A blue guy in a blue
Patrick's
world.
ugly as fuck.
He's part of the Blue Man Group.
Yeah, he could be part of the Blue Man Group. He could be blue baba dee da da die, bada dee bada die, bada dee da da die. Yeah, that type of schmuck. In which case, if he is, I love him that much more.
Since
what is this hentai?
Since when is this hentai?
I don't know.
This is a different show now.
Apparently.
So, did any of you see Deadpool 2?
I have not yet seen it.
And
I have not seen it yet.
upset.
Well, y'all are unfriended.
There is mixed feelings about that movie as well.
I have been working for the past 4 days.
Ryan Reynolds is also pretty to look at.
What they
said. 4 in the afternoon. So get off my ass, you dickhead.
Dude, I work from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. Okay? Every goddamn weekday. 4 a.m. or 5 a.m., excuse me, to fucking 6 p.m. every day. Except the weekends. Struggle. I get weekends off. Except for the first weekend of the month. I work those weekends. Because I'm guard now. Yay. Guard weekends. Woo woo. Working for the state.
Woo
I
woo.
have to pay for my own health insurance. You fucking active duty schmucks.
There's so much going on right now.
We do. Like, I doubt anybody even knows what I mean by active duty.
So much salt.
I just want to say that
shitting. That's what I fucking mean.
Even though Ryan Reynolds is, obviously playing Deadpool, he's still pretty to look at with all of that prosthesis and makeup.
Oh, I agree. No homo.
No homo. Is that still a thing? People still say that?
Well, I just said it, so apparently it's still a thing. Maybe.
I mean, I don't know your relevance.
I don't know my own relevance. How relevant am I? Can somebody tell me how relevant I am? Am I relevant at all? I'm having
if you have to ask, then no.
I'm having an existential crisis. Oh my god! I'm not relevant anymore. I should just end Hero. I should just go off into pasture. Look at the flowers, as Carol said. Put the pistol. What the hell? What? Come again?
Just jump into the well. Don't let Lassie save you.
You mean Samara?
Don't let Lassie save you.
Wait, so if I jump into the well, will Samara greet me?
You can just
do an ultimate belly flop.
Wow, how can I belly flop into a well? How does that make sense? Unless I'm.
How could you not?
It's a well. Like, unless I'm an infant, how can I belly flop into that shit?
I don't know. Anyways,
end screen.
Yeah, why don't we just leave it here?
Yeah.
I think everyone's a little tired. Okay, and Ryan's just going off the deep end, too.
I'm literally feeling tired.
He was always off the deep end, though.
I think we started at the deep end.
Hey, come at me, boy.
We started at the deep end.
I am your god.
I am Cthulhu.
You are nothing. You are trash.
Oh, you pretentious little bitch. I'm going to fuck your
Watch out.
world.
Cthulhu's going to snap his fin.
I just want to hear that joke.
Fin. I don't have fins. I have tentacles.
Tentacle monster?
No,
I have a lot of curiosities.
Now we're just going to be tentacle porn.
Oh, you betcha.
Let's not.
Sweet candy ass, there's going to be tentacle porn.
And
my eyes on you, man. I mean, Patrick.
What?
Fulfill curiosities?
Anyway.
I was going to say Michaela. No.
Anyways, thank you guys for
Patrick.
listening to this weird ass podcast. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. If you did, hit that thumbs up. If you didn't, who gives a flying fuck?
That rhymes.
Fuck you if you didn't like it. Fuck you. That's
fuck
that's
you.
all I
fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck YouTube.
And honestly, fuck Michaela. Let's
fuck
just
you, Patrick.
Yeah. Michaela's mostly useless this entire stream, so yeah,
Wow.
Pretty much.
I don't even know you and you're already fucking with me. Man. I like how you called me semi-pretty and then you're just gonna shit on me. Every boyfriend I used to have.
I'm kind of like twice from My Hero Academia. I send mixed signals.
Oh, damn, every boyfriend I've ever had.
Okay. Well played. Well played.
See you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.